Both the Saints and Panthers are coming off losses in NFL Week 2, the first divisional matchup for Carolina, looking to break a 9-game losing streak. Last time they faced off, New Orleans came away with an 18-10 victory. And welcome to Bank of America Stadium, NFL Week 3 for Carolina hosting the New Orleans Saints. Welcome to the ADSN Carolina Football Report. An overcast day here in Charlotte. Boy, Week 3 is going to be exciting. Divisional matchup with the Saints and the Panthers. Of course, we've got Robbie Anderson warming up out here, and everybody really anticipating a better performance for the Carolina Panthers out here. And let's check the injury report. Dante Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Frankie Louvu, Stan Thomas Oliver, Ryan Burns, and Matthew Ioannidis. And boy, the Panthers have been a little banged up in the past 3 weeks, but they're coming away trying to stay healthy. Now, there's a good quarterback matchup coming up with Jameis Winston for the Saints and Baker Mayfield leading the Panthers. Taking a look at both struggling in the passing game. Winston ranked 19th in the league. Mayfield way down at 30th. Winston, of course, sacked 6 times in that Week 2 loss. The big problem on offense for Carolina is third down efficiency. The top 3 teams are Buffalo, Philly, and Washington. Meanwhile, the Panthers are way down, ranked 29th, along with the Giants and Houston. Ben McAdoo's troops just 0 for 5 in that second half against the Giants. And Coach McAdoo needs to find a way to turn things around without overusing Christian McCaffrey. One answer can be Laviska Shenault, who we haven't seen yet, getting the tight ends more involved, increase the use of 12 personnel, and possibly abandoning the Shi Smith experiment. It's got to be a tough situation for Coach McAdoo as he makes in-game adjustments. Now, Christian McCaffrey is definitely on the upswing with 15 carries for 102 yards at the Giants in Week 2. Meanwhile, Carolina Panthers tight end Tommy Tremble stopped by for a recent episode of Chopping Up with Buck. Let's take a look.
I'm Tommy Tremble, and I'm chopping it up with Buck.
All right, I'm happy to have Tommy Tremble here today. Tommy, tight end, man. It's good to finally meet you. I've seen you, I've watched you. That Notre Dame tradition, tell me about that, man. You go from Georgia up to Notre Dame. I'm from Texas. I went up there for a recruiting visit. I'll tell you why I went to UCLA and not Notre Dame. Got snowed in, was there for a week. I love the place, but I just couldn't take the cold weather. And usually the recruiting trips were better, but I had a great time. I just ended up not going there. Yeah.
Really, I think the choices when it came down to me picking my college, Notre Dame kind of had the whole package. You know what I'm saying? My dad played football at UGA, grew up a diehard UGA fan. And so really, I thought I was always going to try to go to Georgia my entire life. And then I finally went up to Notre Dame. I saw the campus, met the coaches, saw the opportunity I could get for going there on scholarship. And really, it just all aligned. It's a great school with great football, and it got me the opportunity to be where I am now.
Now, you talk about your dad playing in the league. He played with a couple of teammates of mine, won the Super Bowl. Tell us about that experience. Do you remember it, or how did it turn out for you when you saw that to kind of like push you to this level?
It was awesome. You know, being able to say my dad played in the NFL was the coolest thing I could ever say in my life. As a kid, if you said that, you were a superstar. So I was the most proud of my dad since I was like 3 or 4. It was something I held on to all the way to high school. And so really it impacted my life in a way I can't even describe. It got me here today.
Now, your dad had some really good soccer skills, talking about your dad. Do you have those same skills? Could we put you out here with the Charlotte FC crew?
Man, when I was young, I promise I was the best soccer player in the world. That's how I thought I was.
What could you do?
I could do everything. Goalie, score. I could shoot from anywhere. I scored 3 goals in like 4th grade from the corner shot. Like, I was crazy.
Were you bending it like Beckham a little bit?
Exactly like that. Exactly. But then I took a long break. I tried with, we met them in the summer, Charlotte FC, and I tried to block a few of their shots. Yeah. It did not work out as I thought it would.
Could you dribble through them, or?
I wouldn't say I'm the best at it. You know, get more practice, then maybe I can give you a good answer.
You really like to block. You got some dog in you, man, because most people don't want to block. They want to catch the rock. Tell us a little bit about that. What made you determined to be a better blocker?
I think really with my opportunities I got in college, because I was a pass catcher. I was a pass catcher my entire life. I was always on the smaller side of tight ends. And my last year in college, I wasn't getting the opportunities really to have the catch passing ability. So whatever I had in my hands, I was going to be the best at it. So I got into the blocking game and the running game, and I tried to dominate every single play. And doing that really got me where I am right now. It got me my name out there. I ended up being the #1 blocker in college football, and because of that, I'm able to live my dreams right now.
So what's interesting, man, now that you're here, and this year, a lot of expectations for you. Tight end, that position is really critical for a lot of offenses. How will Coach McAdoo help you get better and use you like Evan Ingram, but also have you as a dog on the end of the line blocking people?
I think McAdoo really schemes up everything for the best of everyone's abilities. It's really fun playing in his offense. He lets you do everything. We have an answer for everything we can. For whatever we see on the defensive side or what we want to do on offense, we have an option to. If we execute it, there's really nothing that can stop us.
Yeah, your snaps went down in week 2, but product of sometimes how games go. Are you expecting more this week and the coming weeks, especially in the passing game?
I think these next few weeks are going to be exciting a lot for the tight ends. You know, we're all getting in there. We're all going to have a time to shine, and so I think it's going to be fun to watch us this weekend.
Let's look to see more tight end action, especially with Tremble today. We're coming right back on the Carolina Football Report. Stay with us.
At Heslop Wealth Advisors, our goal is to help small businesses develop quality retirement plans for their employees through our Lunch and Learn seminars. We provide lunch and learning tools to help your company succeed and unmatched customer service.
I'm Marshall Falk.
I'm Glenn Parker.
Hi, I'm Troy Aikman, and I'm chopping it up with Buck.
Hi, I'm Dusty Baker, manager of the Houston Astros, and you're looking and listening to Chopping It Up with Buck.
Welcome to the show, Chopping It Up, Eric. How you doing?
Go with Monte Cristo.
Ooh.
And a little Abalone.
I got it.
It was a description that I'd never heard before, and I've never forgotten it.
I know you wanna leave, and I refuse to let you go.
Talk about the buck bust in Texas.
I mean, if it's gonna be chopping it up, we got to talk some food, wine.
Chopping it up.
Chopping it up.
Chopping it up.
Chopping it up.
Next time you have an hour, get in front of your computer. If you don't have your computer with you, get a piece of paper and just start. You just have to start. Write it down. Write what's in your head right now. Put it on paper.
What steered me away from that, I experienced my father's end of his tenure at San Diego State, which was so difficult and so bitter. And I was old enough to really feel it and understand that, man, there's a lot of things about college athletics that I don't want to have to deal with.
Saying that you're not a racist and saying that you have black friends doesn't mean anything. I thought it meant something, but it doesn't. So the only thing that I would want to do is educate, which I have myself over the course of time.
Social media has allowed them to connect and develop a voice at a very young age. It's so unbelievable.
You are the first to hear about this.
It was like his head swiveled like Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
This guy just did it with some bums.
He's staring at me, not blinking, just staring at me for like 15, 20 seconds, and I'm chopping his hands down, trying to get him off me. And, that's right then and there. I'm like, this dude is a different cat, So.
I'd have a full 6-pack if I didn't eat tacos. I love tacos.
When it all ended, and you would think you would be sad and disappointed, and what did we do? We went out to the club.
Yeah, we did. We went. I mean, it was like 15, 20, maybe 30 of us all just went. We just took over the place, right? We said, "Look, we're gonna enjoy this."
Exactly. That was in true Hot Shots fashion. Man.
Yeah. You're watching Chopping It Up with Buck.
Chopping it up with Buck.
Oh, that's why.
I'm Maria Taylor, and you're watching Chopping It Up with Buck.
I love you, Buck. You're the best. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And yes, let's do it again real soon, too. Let's do it during the football season, and really appreciate you.
Back with the Carolina Football Report live at Bank of America Stadium. The Panthers defense held the Giants to 172 yards passing. Last week, Brian Burns had 2 sacks. Frankie Louvu had a team-leading 15 solo tackles so far, but they still need takeaways as we check the defensive numbers for the Panthers, allowing 150 and 160 yards and 22.5 points per game. With more on this week's matchup, let's check in with Kevin Casey.
Thanks, Joby. The Carolina Panthers looking at the Saints today, and you want to think for the New Orleans Saints, they get Alvin Kamara back from injury. He didn't play last week. So Alvin Kamara on offense is really going to give Jameis Winston another dimension in the offense. Jameis Winston is on the injury report with a bad back, and I can feel that 100%. If you're New Orleans, seeing that Carolina 0-2, that the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants, they did run the ball fairly effectively, more so for Cleveland. Cleveland ran for over 200 yards on Carolina. The Panthers did a better job defensively against the Giants and Saquon Barkley. But New Orleans, look for New Orleans to run the ball, try to control the clock, get the first downs. And Michael Thomas back from an injury this year, he will definitely stretch the Carolina defense. For the New Orleans Saints defensively, it all starts up front with Cameron Jordan and Marcus Davenport on the defensive line at defensive end. Carolina's offensive line has been somewhat porous the first 2 games. So you would have to think that there's going to be extra attention on a former Pro Bowler like Cam Jordan and an up-and-coming ball player like Marcus Davenport. So Carolina, conversely, they want to run the ball. Christian McCaffrey hasn't been getting many touches. Of course, he hasn't been playing much in the last couple of years. And I think Carolina has tried to not overuse him, try to stretch him throughout the season. You may want to see Christian McCaffrey in more of a slot type position to try to get him the ball. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, he got loose last against the Cleveland Browns. So look for Robbie Anderson, Baker Mayfield to look towards the Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Christian McCaffrey in the pass game. Now for the Saints defensively, Marshawn Lattimore was in a big brawl last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He did not get suspended like Tampa Bay's receiver from Texas A&M, but he is going to be watched heavily, I would think. So if you're Carolina, you may want to try to bait him into some type of confrontation. He is a Pro Bowler. He's a guy, and he also had the honey badge playing safety for the New Orleans Saints. So the Saints do have a fairly solid defense. Tampa Bay looks pretty good at the top of the division. Atlanta's kind of catch can. You don't know what you're going to get. The Saints are not a bad ball club, and it could be a race to 500 for second place in the division between the Saints, Falcons, and Carolina Panthers. And it's going to be a real tight battle for that second place in the division. It may not even be good enough for a wild card. I remember I was on a couple of national radio shows over the summer when Baker Mayfield signed. I thought that Carolina, with a lot of things going their way, meaning not many injuries, they could win 10 games. I have heard from the people at Broughton, and they may want to come talk to me for a possible evaluation for thinking Carolina could win 10 games, but the season's not over. It is possible. So for Carolina, you want to run the ball, try to get as many quick, short passes to DJ Moore, and maybe stretch the defense deep with Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey in the short passing game. But you have to block Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport on the Saints defensive line, and definitely try to work the short passing game and try to run the ball. And for Carolina, both teams are going to want to do the same thing. Run the ball, control the clock, limit the turnovers, rack up the total plays, first downs, and total yardage. So, Joby, I can tell you right now, it's going to be, I think, a low-scoring game. I told some of my buddies that do these things for entertainment purposes only to take the under. So it could be a low-scoring game. Points will be at a premium. And if you're Carolina, you want to get as many points early as possible for the Carolina Panthers hosting the New Orleans Saints.
Thanks, Kevin. Now let's take a look at the 3 crucial areas and keys to the game for the Panthers against the Saints. Panthers offense needs to sustain drives by converting on third down consistently, maintain strong defensive pressure on Jameis Winston with sacks and hurries, and of course increase takeaways by punching that ball out with a lot more physicality starting from the Saints' first possession. We're ready to go here for Panthers Saints right here at Bank of America Stadium. Make sure to log on to ADSN1.com for all your news and updates. We're coming right back after the game.